And, of course, as the program begins, I do want to mention our sponsors for the evening. Of course, Floyd's 1921 restaurant located at 4th and Bridges Street, beautiful uptown Morehead City, and Advanced Water Systems, the people that bring you Connecticut. Folks, well, practically reinventing water. And with that, Hunter, good evening to you.
Hi, I'm Hunter, and I'm a senior at East Carteret.
Okay. Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa, and I'm a senior at West Carteret.
All right, let's talk about this in relationship to a conversation we had last week, having to do with attire. Not the kind that fits in the car, but the kind that you wear, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's just so happens that the very next, well, actually earlier that day, and I hadn't seen the story, in Raleigh, Wake County is trying to achieve a less restrictive but not too revealing student dress code. And it is interesting that some of the topics that we discussed also came up in the issue in Wake County. And it notes here that they want to make the student dress code less biased against girls, but at the same time, they don't plan to let students wear whatever they want at school. We talked about that last week, and I thought it was pretty interesting that, Hunter, the ladies in the room, of which there were numerous, complained bitterly about the fact that you felt being singled out as a gender.
Yeah, totally.
Or is that as a species?
We're a species.
I got you.
Yeah.
But no.
I definitely have to say I have felt in a general sense, I've never been like dress coded or anything, but I've definitely felt more pressure to be like, oh, I have to think more about what I'm going to wear today because I don't want to get in trouble.
Whoa. Are you sure you haven't been dress coded?
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking you had.
I sensed a little hesitation there.
No, I've never been dress coded. I'm so scared of getting in trouble.
What happens if you get dress coded?
At West, I think
they send you home?
No. What they do is they will give you a warning. They'll give you like a warning and they'll write your name on a list, and then if that happens, I think you have to change. And then if it happens a second time, you get a referral.
So the argument we proposed last week was, for example, in shorts, that you are very restrictive. And by the way, it's school to school, right?
I think it's school to school. I think it is school to school.
Okay, Hunter, as I recall last week, you said since you've had a change in principals, things have lightened up there at East Carteret?
Things have lightened up a little bit, and I totally agree with Vanessa. Girls are the dress code is definitely more geared towards girls than it is guys. It's much more restrictive against them.
Okay.
Because guys could have their pants sagging.
That's what I want to ask. That's what I want to ask.
Nothing would happen.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it happen. I think what happens at East if you get dress coded is they'll be like, hey, blah, 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 and they'll let you like go to the office to call your parents and bring you something else.
Let's talk about the issue of the pants sagging. This is for guys. I have yet to figure it out. And
I haven't figured it out either.
But here's the kicker. All you got to do is require them to hike their pants up.
And wear a belt.
Well, you can, any number of things. You can staple the pants to
that would be a little painful.
No, not to the body.
Not to the person.
But you could staple. All right. It is interesting. You have seen that, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Comparable experience with ladies, Vanessa. If they are dress coded, they do get reaction.
If you get dress coded as a girl at West, you definitely have to change. I have never seen or heard of a guy at West getting dress coded.
Have you seen situations where, for example, the sagging pants?
I've seen people with sagging pants, but I've never seen anybody get
dress coded
for that.
That is a little bothersome. I mean,
right?
Well, I mean, if it either applies for all or it doesn't apply at all.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the main issue I think a lot of girls have with it is like if it was an equal dress code, it would probably be less like why this is so ridiculous. You're making me feel like I'm making other people feel uncomfortable, and that seems like...
Yeah, no, that's not...
Like, it's not my responsibility to not... It's
Like,
not my responsibility for the guys to not get
agree.
distracted.
I know, I understand, but here's let me read some more from this story appearing in the Raleigh Nuisance and Disturber, as I like to call it. A Wake County School Board committee discussed Tuesday a new student dress code that would be more gender neutral.
Yes.
Well, that means then you guys could wear your dresses, Hunter. I mean, gender neutral.
There are guys that would.
Okay, but I mean, you eliminating references to a current list of banned items such as clothing that shows too much cleavage. The new policy borrows heavily from student dress code used in Portland, Oregon, so forth and so on. Here's a quick question. Wouldn't it be better if we just went to uniforms?
Okay, I can understand where people would understand the whole... If we had uniforms, yeah, we wouldn't really have to worry about a dress code because everyone would be wearing the same thing.
Exactly.
But my problem with having a uniform is that it takes away individuality.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but what I also think is I think a lot of people who are a lot of adults who are for the dress code are like, well, would you rather have a school uniform? And I feel like we're going from very far extremes. Like, it's not like it's an all-out free-for-all, you can wear whatever you want, or straight jackets. Like, it's not that. It's like we need to find a middle ground on this. Like, we need to be like, okay, this is what you can wear, this is what you can't wear, and make it more equal. I understand that it's not going to ever be an equal dress code, because yeah, sometimes women's clothing is tailored just because of the way women's bodies are built to be more revealing, because that's how women's fashion has kind of come along, and men's fashion hasn't come along like that. So I understand it will never really be a super equal thing, but it needs to be more balanced, if anything.
Well, first off, you mentioned the issue of men's tailored or more fashionable. I don't think. I'm curious, Hunter. What's a fashion statement this day and age for boys at school?
For guys?
AirPods.
What now?
For what?
AirPods.
What?
At West, at least.
Earbuds.
I don't know.
AirPods.
Oh, those little
like Apple.
wireless earbuds.
Yeah, that's a joke,
Okay.
but that's a joke. No one wears them.
But
Jeans, khakis.
I mean, I wear jeans.
Cargo pants. What?
I don't know, but in regards to what Vanessa said about like guys' clothing hasn't like hit a certain point or isn't made, like what was it you said?
It's not so like women's clothing is just tailored to be more revealing just because of how women's clothing has evolved.
But when you think about, there are some guys' clothing, because guys are, when you think of like the normal stereotypical dude, he's like stronger, he's got bigger muscles, and there's a lot of guy clothing that is like sleeveless to kind of show that off.
All right, okay. And by the way, can guys go sleeveless?
Yeah.
Not it.
Honestly, I have seen guys do it.
East Carteret. Okay, West
I've
Carteret.
seen it.
And by the way, this is interesting also that the application at the schools varies.
I can't remember seeing, I can't really remember seeing anybody wearing tank tops, but it's January, so I don't know if...
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to take a quick break on that one. Tank tops in January. I like the idea. Here on Youth Points on the Talk Station, FM 107, AM 1240. Youth Points on the Talk Station, FM 107 AM 1240. We had several conversations. We're going to talk about a few items. Real quick question, because I've got a feeling I know the answer since I've got just Vanessa and Hunter in here this evening. Hunter, a senior at East Carteret, Vanessa, senior at West Carteret. Just out of curiosity, did either of you watch any part of the Super Bowl?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, no to Hunter and yes to Vanessa.
I'm a huge football fan.
I don't have cable, and
I
even
am
if I did, I wouldn't have watched
huge
it.
football fan.
Okay, wait a second. Let me. All right, say that again, Hunter.
I don't have cable, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't have watched it. I
right.
am not a football fan.
All right.
Love football.
Okay, what did you think of the game?
I thought I stopped. I went to a Super Bowl party,
Ooh.
and I left after the third quarter, and the fourth quarter was when all the points were scored.
I know. I just said.
So I missed all of that.
You
but
were
I
mad
watched.
at yourself, weren't you?
I wasn't mad. I didn't really care. My team is the Giants, and they didn't do too hot this season. Yeah, I know.
Here's my question for you. Did you watch any of the commercials?
I watched a few of them. I watched a bunch of the Pepsi ones because
Right.
they kept coming up.
Yep.
Pepsi and Coke always show up.
Audi
Audi
had one. I
you
watched.
had the Budweiser.
I saw the Budweiser.
Did you see the one for Game of Thrones?
I did. I was so confused throughout that entire thing, and then it was like Game of Thrones.
You didn't.
No.
The interesting thing,
so
the Game of Thrones.
confused.
The Game of Thrones used Budweiser as the.
I was really confused.
The night from Budweiser. That was really. That
It was so clever.
The one of all of the commercials. Well, you know, the commercials tend to get a lot of the excitement of the game.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't seem to get the feeling for a tremendous amount of interest in the commercials. Other than I did enjoy the halftime, I think it was the halftime commercial of the 100th year anniversary of football. They're at the party.
Was it all of the people like playing football?
Yeah.
I did see some of that.
Peyton Manning,
that was
they had
and he was like,
all-
"Hold my rings."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I did see that.
Yeah. That was a fun.
That was a
the
good
only
one.
that I really enjoyed. Other than that,
Who are you pulling for?
the game.
Yeah.
Not
If you
that
say
I'm,
the Patriots, I'm never coming back.
No, not that I'm a Patriot hater. I was hoping that Sean McVay and of course, see, Todd Gurley plays for the Rams.
I don't know who that
You know,
is.
and Todd Gurley is their running back.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, he gets paid more than Tom Brady.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Actually not. But beside the point, Todd Gurley is from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Yeah.
Hey.
So I was kind of that was my interest. There was a
Yes.
local connection.
I did.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I really didn't like you. I didn't really care.
No, I didn't care. I went to the Super Bowl party for
And
fun.
the other aspect of it was in New Orleans, they held a giant street party. Yeah. Because nobody was going to watch it.
Actually, very hilariously, the theme of the Super Bowl party I went to was the Saints.
Oh, was it really?
Because the person who was hosting it was so mad about the game
Oh, yeah.
where the Saints were robbed.
Oh,
and
was that the
I
bad call where
think
the
it was
guy-
hilarious.
Oh my
There was a
gosh,
cake there with the Saints symbol on it. She was wearing a Saints
right.
jersey.
All right.
It's perfect.
Now, so I just was curious if we watched the Super Bowl. All right, here's a quick question related to school today. Was that the topic of discussion in school?
No.
Hunter.
We talked a little bit about it first period
Okay.
and a little bit of second period, but it wasn't like that's what everyone was talking about.
That's an important question, and I'll explain to you why in a moment. What about you, Vanessa?
No, I was in band. We don't.
Okay, but there was no. Well, you only go to class
Once. Yeah.
one class a day.
I'm such a slacker.
And not only
Because she gamed the system.
she gamed the
did.
system. Yeah. The thing I'm wondering here, and this goes to another conversation later in the program, and that is how much TV are students watching? I've asked this question in the past, and I'm looking at what I would call standard TV. It's terrestrial
Like
TV.
cable.
Yeah, cable, but with all the commercials, your CBS, NBC, that you have to wade through the commercials as you have to with the Super Bowl because that's how it's played. But I'm wondering, Hunter, how many people in your class actually converse or talk about what they see on TV, not on Hulu
or
Netflix, but TV?
I mean, I think it depends on the class or like the day, because someone might have seen something.
But is there a lot of conversation? I mean,
not from what I hear.
Vanessa.
No.
So in essence, you guys, your generation is not watching a lot of what I would call standard commercial TV.
I don't think so.
If I had cable, there are a few shows I would definitely watch weekly, but I don't have cable.
But wait a second. I'm not talking cable. You're talking when you say cable, I'm talking about your standard TV stations like CBS, NBC. Okay. I mean, things like they had Best in the World. I think was following the football game. It's kind of a variety show for identifying people of great talent and experience. Things like for example, the upcoming Grammys, things of this nature.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who watch the Grammys and the Oscars and like the Golden Globes and things like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that watching CBS, NBC has really. I mean, there are a couple shows that are in my kind of hemisphere that I definitely like. I'm like, oh, I want to watch, for instance, The Good Place.
Okay.
That's on NBC. Or
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine. I'll wade through the commercials, as you say, to watch those shows, but I don't like just channel surf. I don't think channel surfing's a very popular thing anymore.
Oh, well, part of that is because you've got the options of Hulu,
Netflix, Roku.
Things of that nature.
Yep.
All right. The other question then goes to, what is the conversation about the entertainment that you see on video? And now I'm talking Hulu, I'm talking Netflix. I'm assuming in your case, Hunter, we're looking at basically Game of Thrones.
I'm not really a big Game of Thrones.
All right.
I mean, maybe.
But what do you watch? And your conversations with your other classmates?
I watch The Flash, Arrow, Supernatural. I recently watched Incredibles 2, which is now on Netflix. Loved it. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Amazing movie.
All right. To you, Vanessa.
Yeah, I watch, as I said, The Good Place, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, but that's on your basic commercial TV. But I'm talking about things like what is the conversation nowadays in class?
A lot of Netflix specials. Like the one that I know I've been talking to a lot of people about is You. It's a weird show. I don't suggest you watch it. It's a very good show. It's very good. It's just kind of crazy.
Hunter, you know what You is?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I know
psychological.
what I am, but
I can't handle that, right?
No.
Okay.
It's too much for you.
I've heard a lot of people talking about that Sandra Bullock one, Bird Box.
Bird Box, yeah.
I've heard
Bird
a lot
Box
of people talking
also
about that
fantastic. Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. Those type. I watch a lot of those types of.
The border on horror flicks.
Like the thriller ones, they'll get your heart going.
The thing is, I hate scary movies and scary TV shows, and I purposely get people to tell me what happens in each of the episodes that I watch, just so I know if it's scary or not.
Would you bother to go back and watch it?
Yeah. Well, that's how I know if it's. Look, Lockwood, I get so scared so easily. Hunter, you'll appreciate this. I watched the first episode of Supernatural and broke down in tears because I was so scared.
I was going to say, did you see Jessica?
I don't know. I was so scared of the first episode of Supernatural that I broke down in tears. I don't know. I was scared. I get scared very easily.
Okay, all right. I'm just sitting here. This is, again, trending. What you all are watching, and I'm just fascinated by that. Okay, we'll take a quick break on that, come back with more. Speaking of which, by the way, there's some concern about video addiction. Yeah. The computers are addicting people. I'm just curious about your experience on that as well. Stay with us here on Youth Points on the Talk Station. Viewpoints on the talk station FM 107. I'm sorry, Youthpoints on the talk station. I know. I'm so used to saying Viewpoints. We've got Hunter and Vanessa here in the studio this evening. Okay, I brought up the topic, and we're going to get to this on the issue of screen time. We chatted earlier about TV and commercial TV, as I call it, CBS, NBC, ABC, things of that nature, Fox, where you have to wade through the commercials. And Vanessa and I were wading through the commercials off air a little bit on the issue of the commercials from the Super Bowl. All right, let's talk about this in relationship to actual screen time. And Vanessa, you have an app on your phone, which
one of the cool things about whatever iOS update I have on my iPhone is that it tells me each week. It gives me a screen report. It gives me a screen time report, and it will tell me this is my average screen time for the week. It is down this % from last week, or it is up this % from the week before.
Okay, question.
Things like that.
What are you using the screen time on your iPhone for? Are you such things as Facebook, Netflix, but for streaming, what?
Mostly social media, mostly Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter.
Okay. All right.
Things like that.
To you on that one, Hunter, how much time do you spend on yours?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I'm sure I could go in like settings somewhere and find out, but
okay. But do you spend 5 hours a day on it? Do you think?
Well, considering most of my day is school. I mean, I don't think I'd spend 5 hours a day on my phone, but I spend a good bit of time on my phone, mainly Messenger and playing games on my phone.
Okay, playing games. The question, of course, has to go to other devices, including cell phones, but tablets and things of this nature, and even computers. And what they're discovering is that there's a growing addiction to this. Hunter?
I can understand where people are coming from on that. There are a lot of people our age that are totally like addicted to like their phone or their computer. Like if you took it away from them, they wouldn't know what to do.
Really? Vanessa?
I definitely know some people who wouldn't know what to do, but I would like to add something into that whole thing of like if you took my phone away from me, I wouldn't know what to do. A lot of my personal information, like passwords, ways to get calendar. I have to call people. I text people a lot. I send a lot of emails a lot. I have to actually do things on the go. So if you were to take my phone away from me, personally, I would also struggle with it, but less for not being connected and more for being like, oh, I have to get something done, or oh, I need to get from this place to another. I like being able to contact my parents at all times, things like that. So it's less of like oh, I'm addicted to my Instagram account, and more of oh, if I get stranded on the side of the road, I want to be able to call AAA.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. But
the aspect of being actually addicted to it to the point where you would feel uncomfortable, and it does. There's an interesting story here, and I wanted to pull this up very quickly. Increased screen time in young children associated with developmental delays, and I'm just wondering, is this because there's a lack of interaction other than directly with the screen? Is it Hunter?
I mean, I can see the logic there. Like, if you spend so much time talking to someone through a screen, you're not getting like actual FaceTime with them, like an actual physical interaction.
But apparently, much of that is actually engaged in game playing. For each age group, children with increased screen times showed poor performance on development testing when they reached the next age group. In other words, you're going from preschool to school, primary grades, then to middle school, things of this nature. And it noted here, personal social skills lacking as well. What I'm wondering, and you're a game player, right?
A little bit.
Vanessa, you don't play games, so are you a gamer?
I play Mario Kart.
Oh, okay. You're not an aggressive gamer, right?
No.
Okay.
But Mario Kart can get
aggressive.
Can you? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Very good at it.
Hours and hours of. Do you get tired of playing games, Hunter?
Well, if I play the same game for like 3 hours, I'll be like, okay, I need to stop playing this for a little while. Then I might switch over to another game and play that for a little while.
Okay, but you'd continue gaming. All right.
Yeah.
Let's take it one step beyond that, and I want to go to another concern, and that, of course, is Google. Used to be Yahoo, but I don't know if Yahoo's going to be around much longer. But Google, Facebook, predominantly those two. You can throw in maybe Amazon. Are now really aggressively profiling their users.
Oh, through cookies?
Well, just maintaining all the use about the use of your phone. I guess you call it.
That's why you gotta watch Black Mirror. They tell you about these things.
There was one time I was looking. I like to collect these things called pop figures. These little things that got big eyes, these big heads. Of like movie characters, TV show characters.
Oh, those are cool.
And I had looked at like these specific three on Amazon. I went to a different site and a little ad popped up at the bottom of my screen for the exact 3 I had been looking at on Amazon.
Okay, now that's.
I'm just like.
Okay, but here's the.
They be watching.
Yeah, they are watching. Does that concern you?
A little bit,
Vanessa.
I personally don't really care that much. I really respect I really like my privacy as much as the next person, but I don't see it as an extreme violation of my privacy if they're just adjusting the ads that will show up no matter what.
I just feel a little
too personalized to be more like with me. Like, I would much rather see an ad for Steve Weiss percussion than I would for a cornfield.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But here's the question: do you feel that, and there's concern associated with this in other countries, although it's growing here in the States, that there's a certain degree of invasion of privacy that could long term influence you and or your purchases and things of this nature? Is there a concern among your age group that privacy is premier?
No, but I will say a lot of the time, Alexa, the Amazon Alexa.
Amazon thing,
yeah, I have a couple friends who are like, yeah, Alexa's really weird and she's always listening, and you'll say things sometimes on accident and she'll respond to it.
Okay, so
I've heard things.
I don't trust that. That's something I definitely do not trust because I think those things are weird. But once again, online ads that are specifically tailored to what I have looked at doesn't really bother me that much.
Talking about Alexa, Hunter. Do you?
I don't have an Alexa, but I know what she's talking about, and I've heard that Alexa is like will like store like Vanessa said, you could just offhandedly say something about how you like this particular soda, and then then Alexa could be like, here's where you can get this, like.
Yeah, that I do find a little disconcerting.
Yeah,
just a little.
I don't love it. I don't love that whole thing. But once again, from the same friends that I have who have talked to me about their Alexas, they say it's very useful. It's a very useful tool to be able to quickly do things around the house.
All right. I want to go next to since we're talking technology here for a few minutes. Story I read earlier today, most people do not like the Apple Watch. It's expensive, it's annoying, and while Apple has tried to pivot to marketing it as a health and fitness tracker, unless you want to find out if you're having a heart attack or you're actually having a heart attack, it's functionally it's fairly limited. There is, however, one demographic that has embraced the Apple Watch with open arms. Tech-savvy, upper middle class, teens and tweens. The watch is a convenient workaround for classroom cell phone bans. It can be used for everything from texting to cheating on tests.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
So you know about this?
Yeah, I had a friend who actually we were about to go take. I'm going to censor the class. We were going to go take a class test.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get this person in trouble.
Why not? That'd be fun.
No, it wouldn't.
No. All right.
And they were like, I'm going to write down this in my watch because you can. I'm gonna write this down in my phone because you can access it on your watch. And they don't make us take. They don't make you take your watch off for tests like in the classroom. But if you're taking like an exam, that's when they make you take it off. Unless your teacher's super strict and makes you take it off. Then.
Okay. I mean, if it's a normal classroom test, I can understand why teachers wouldn't require you to take them off, because how could they prove that you're using it to cheat unless they specifically ask you to like take it off and like then they'd go through it. But if it's like an exam, they make you leave your phone with your stuff. They make you take off. Like if you have a normal like analog watch, you can keep that on. But the watch I am currently wearing, if I had to take an exam tomorrow, I would have to take it off and leave it with my stuff outside.
It's a digital watch, but it's a standard sport watch.
It's a standard digital like watch, but there's a chance it could like beep when it hits like 9 o'clock. And if that happened in the middle of an exam, they could count it as a tested misadministration.
Oh, I had a test. Ooh,
and
I
then
had
it
a
would
test
piss
administration
everybody off.
once.
No, wait, what is this again?
So if anything goes wrong during a state exam, they have to go pretty to the T.
Oh yeah.
They have to be. You have to get read out a very specific list of instructions in a very specific order. You have a very specific amount of time you can work, a break time, and a very specific amount of time you can work until the end of the test. And there's a very, very hard, dead set time that you have to finish the test by. And within all of that, there are certain rules about what can and cannot happen during the test, like number 2 pencil, calculator if allowed during the test specifically. Scratch paper. You have to turn in the scratch paper during a test. However, now these tests, it used to be back in the olden days, aka 4 years ago, it would just be like, hey, if you have a beepy watch, if you have a watch that beeps, don't wear it to school on the day of the exam. But now...
Or just leave it with yourself.
But now, what it is it's like all phones, all cellular devices, had earbuds, like Apple Watches, smartwatches,
depending on the test.
I have never been in a
test.
test.
Might let you.
I've never been in a test where they have let us use earbuds. I don't know what tests you're taking.
So what you're telling me is that in an effort to, I guess, really avoid being overwhelmed by technology. In other words, the workaround on tests by the ability, for example, as we were just chatting about, related to Apple Watch, it could be used for basically cheating, as could a cell phone.
Yeah.
I mean, so they're accommodating that potential. I'm wondering, are the schools losing out to technology?
What do you mean?
In the sense that, in this case, you've got Apple Watches that could accommodate cheating. The fact that you've got everybody now has a cell phone. You're shaking your head, Vanessa.
I think that they're adapting. I think schools are adapting because now at least at West Carteret, they did a 1-for-1 program where each student gets a Chromebook, which is a small little laptop that you can take home with you. It's yours. You have to bring it to school every day. Has to be charged. So they're accommodating this new trend in technology where, it is a lot of textbooks and a lot of materials are now online. It is easier to access materials online. It makes more sense to type papers rather than to handwrite them. So they're now starting to be like, oh, we need to take a step into the 21st century and we need to be able to acknowledge, which I think is really cool. I think that it's really cool that they're acknowledging that we are progressing so far with technology that they need to catch up.
And we do have Chromebook, the whole Chromebook thing at East.
The school provides the Chromebook?
Yeah, and you pay like a $15 technology fee. Then you can get like the
what happens if
sticker.
you damage it?
If that's on you, it's not on the school. If you damage the Chromebook that they have given you, you're the one that's got to pay for it.
I don't know. I heard that if you damage the computer, they pay for it, but
Nope.
I might be wrong because I don't use my Chromebook very often.
I think it's in like the technology like agreement or whatever they made you sign. If you damage it,
here's a question for you, Vanessa. Back to that, you don't use the Chromebook. If you are given the Chromebook, can you give it back and say, no, I'm going to use my
No.
Apple?
No. You are required to bring the Chromebook with you to school every single day, or you could be sent to ISS, in-school suspension.
Really?
That is not a joke. You look shocked.
I am.
Yes,
for not
it is
bringing your Chromebook?
ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You can get sent to ISS for not having your Chromebook.
By the way, that's in-school suspension.
In-school suspension. Yep. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. That's rude. Their reasoning for it is that you're coming to school unprepared, which makes sense. That is a very good, that's like a kind of a good excuse for
What if you
it.
don't do your homework the night before?
You don't get sent to ISS. That's
Okay.
the thing. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break on that one. I'm surprised by that. That's why I enjoy the program here on Youth Points with Hunter and Vanessa this evening on Youth Points on the Talk Station, FM 107 AM 1240. Welcome to join us if you'd like to make a comment, 252 area code 247-7282. Youth Points on the Talk Station, FM 107 AM 1240. Remind you also of our sponsor for the evening, Advanced Water Systems, the people that bring you Connecticut, folks that are, well, practically reinventing water. We were just chatting a few moments ago about technology. Well, that also qualifies for water. Yeah, there's a lot of technology in water this day and age. And, of course, the renowned non-electric water solution, as the Connecticut Water Systems is called. It knows when it's needed to recharge. It has no electric hookup, no timer. So technology, it's working. And, of course, a wide variety of reverse osmosis water purifiers and air purifiers available only from Advanced Water Systems. They are the single largest independent Connecticut dealer in the country, covering an area as far south as Georgia, as far north as Washington, from the Piedmont to the coast. Advanced Water Systems, a family-owned business committed to outstanding products and outstanding service. Advanced Water Systems, the source, the only source for Connecticut. Local offices, Old Cherry Point Road in Newbern, 635-6222, at 635-6222. Home office and showroom, Highway 70 East between Newport and Moore City, 223-4444. That's 223-4444. And, of course, via email, or pardon me, on the web. You can go to the email as well. But on the web at ConnecticutNC.com, where you can find out all about the array of products from Connecticut and the outstanding service from Advanced Water Systems. That website, again, is ConnecticutNC.com. We have Vanessa and Hunter here in the studio with about 2 minutes to go. We were chatting. I was going to go to a few other items. The issue of, are we going to have, how are they doing the the graduation this year? And they're using the Latin honor system. We won't get into that this evening. I want to go back to the comment we were chatting a few moments ago about the absence of lockers and the fact that you all carry your stuff with you throughout the school day. Vanessa, how many pounds did you carry before you became a senior?
I carried 45 pounds of books a day.
You actually used books?
I had a statistics textbook, an English textbook, a American history textbook,
Why not use technology? Why not use your computers?
At that point, nothing was none of the textbooks had been transferred online yet. But now, this year, they digitized them and gave students. I don't know actually if they did that yet, but this last semester, I had been carrying my laptop. I had been carrying my laptop, 3 textbooks, 4 binders, and pencil bag, calculator, things like that. So, yeah, 45 pounds. Small child. Small child.
She stands 6'4". She's got, no.
I am 5'4".
Well, I was adding a foot. Okay, let me hear from you, Hunter.
I don't know exactly how much my book bag weighed, but I know one day before school, I took my world history binder from last semester out, zipped my backpack up, put it on, and I was like, whoa. It immediately felt so much lighter. I had so much stuff crammed in that binder. Like the plastic, pockets had literally been
when they
ripped
break?
open.
Yeah,
no, they hadn't broken yet, but they were right there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Oh,
know what you mean.
I'm in here trying to feel sympathy for these youngsters. We're talking to Vanessa and Hunter.
Well, you're the Grinch. You feel no sympathy.
I feel no heart. All right, to both of you, thanks for being here this evening here on Youth Points on the Talk Station, FM 107 AM 1240.